and the manhunt underway for the suspect throwing an explosive device into a crowded restaurant in Pasadena, California. The homemade device filling the Cheesecake Factory restaurant with smoke. Customers and employees scrambling outside to safety. Investigators say the device was designed to create a loud explosion without causing damage. Nobody was injured. President Trump finishing the week with a new round of executive actions, and one that could affect retirees across this country, and protections in place when it comes to your savings. The president calling for a change in the rules for how financial advisors handle your retirement savings. The president also pushing to make changes to Dodd-Frank, the law created after the 2008 financial crisis that saw the collapse of major banks. The president saying the law hurts small businesses.
Frankly, I have so many people, friends of mine, that have nice businesses. They can't borrow money. They just can't get any money because the banks just won't let them borrow because of the rules and regulations and Dodd-Frank. So we'll be talking.
There has been swift reaction. Senator Elizabeth Warren tweeting, President Trump, quote, talked a big game about Wall Street during his campaign, but as president, we're finding out whose side he's really on. That new action against Iran tonight and swift reaction from Tehran. We begin with ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega.
The president today landing in Florida for a weekend getaway at his winter White House Mar-a-Lago, but not before making good on that threat to put Iran on notice.
They're not behaving.
The White House issuing new sanctions going directly after people and entities tied to Iran's ballistic missile program. We asked today, is this just the beginning? Should Americans be ready for the possibility of military action with Iran? Is that on the table?
I've said this before. The president's been very clear. He doesn't take options off the table, but he understands the impact of something like that.
In a statement tonight, Tehran saying it will respond proportionately and that Iran's missile program is the undeniable and inalienable right of the Iranian nation. As the White House goes on offense against Iran, it is playing defense on the president's controversial extreme vetting executive order, temporarily banning travelers from 7 majority Muslim countries. It is now the subject of multiple lawsuits, and in a Virginia court today, a Justice Department attorney said more than 100,000 visas have been revoked.
Yeah, I mean, the number 100,000 really sucked the air out of my lungs. I think you could almost hear the collective gasp in the courtroom.
The State Department later said the number of people who had their visas revoked is actually about 60,000. But amid the fallout from images like these, families reunited after being detained at airports across the country, the White House initially focused on a much smaller number.
We had 109 people that were temporarily detained. They're all in. But they were temporarily detained to make sure that the safety of the other 324 million Americans was put first. I don't see how that's a big problem.
Tonight, it is becoming increasingly clear tens of thousands of people directly impacted by the new policy. Of the nearly 60,000 who've had their visas revoked, thousands are already here in the country. They won't be deported, but if they leave, they will not be allowed back in. And there are tens of thousands more overseas with visas already in hand who would have been allowed in, but no longer.
And Cecilia Vega with us live from the White House tonight. And Cecilia, the White House says the immigration ban was designed to prevent potential terrorists from coming into the country. But as you reported there, thousands of people who had their visas revoked are already here.
Yeah, and this highlights just how complicated this is, David. Press Secretary Sean Spicer was asked directly today whether people in this country will be deported. He didn't have the details, but we have since learned that they will not be deported. But, David, they should not be expected to come back into this country if they leave.
Cecilia Vega leading us off tonight. Cecilia, thank you.